The research vessel Horizon's Dream drifted silently through the asteroid field at the edge of Meridian space, its sophisticated sensors probing the mineral-rich rocks that tumbled through the void. Dr. Sarah Chen stood at the observation deck, her hand resting protectively on her daughter Maya's shoulder as they watched the chunks of ancient stone pass by, each one containing mysteries waiting to be unlocked. "Look there, sweetheart." Sarah pointed to a particularly large asteroid that glowed faintly purple under their scanning beams. "That's why we're here. Those traces indicate potential quantum crystalline formations. If we're right, they could revolutionize our FTL communication systems." Maya, barely 7 but already showing her mother's sharp scientific mind, pressed her hands against the transparent aluminum viewport. "The patterns look like the ones in your simulation, Mom, but they're dancing more." Sarah smiled, her heart swelling with pride. She programmed Maya's educational AI to include advanced physics concepts, but her daughter's intuitive grasp still amazed her. As the chief researcher on Project Lightbridge, Sarah knew her work could change humanity's place in the galaxy. But moments like these, sharing discoveries with Maya, meant more than any scientific breakthrough. The ship's AI chimed softly. "Dr. Chen, preliminary scans confirm quantum crystalline structures in asteroid KB 397. Captain Rodriguez requests your presence in the lab." "Duty calls." Sarah squeezed Maya's shoulder. "Want to come watch us map the crystal matrices?" Before Maya could answer, the ship's emergency alert blared. Red warning lights pulsed through the observation deck as Captain Rodriguez's voice cut through the calm. "All hands, battle stations. Unidentified vessels emerging from FTL. Energy signatures match Meridian Imperial Navy." Sarah's blood ran cold. The Meridians, an elder race known for their crystalline technology and rigid belief in their superiority, had explicitly warned human ships away from this sector. But the research mission had all proper permits, filed through 3 different diplomatic channels. "Security team to observation deck," the AI announced. "Dr. Chen and Maya Chen, please remain in place." Through the viewport, Sarah watched 3 Meridian warships materialize. Their crystalline hulls caught the light of the system's distant sun, fracturing it into rainbow patterns that would have been beautiful if not for the weapon ports cycling open along their flanks. "Mom." Maya's voice trembled slightly. "Those are the crystal ships from my xenobiology lessons." Sarah pulled Maya close. "It's okay, sweetheart. They're probably just here to check our permits. Remember what I told you about the Meridians? They're very focused on proper procedures." The ship's comm system crackled. A Meridian voice, speaking perfect English with crystalline overtones, filled the observation deck. "Human vessel, you have violated restricted space. Your species continues to overstep its bounds. Examples must be made." Captain Rodriguez's voice responded, steady and professional. "Meridian vessels, we have full documentation for this research mission, approved by your own Science Council. We are transmitting credentials now." The security team arrived, 4 armed officers in light combat gear. They moved to flank Sarah and Maya, professional but clearly concerned. Through the viewport, Sarah saw the Meridian ships taking up attack positions. "Mom." Maya's grip tightened. "Why aren't they answering?" The first blast caught everyone off guard. The Horizon's Dream shuddered as Meridian energy weapons carved into its shields. Alarms screamed through every deck. "Critical shield failure," the AI reported. "Hull breach on decks 3 through 5. All personnel, evacuate to emergency shelters." Sarah scooped Maya into her arms and ran for the nearest shelter, security officers forming a protective ring around them. They were halfway there when a second blast hit. The deck bucked beneath them. Emergency bulkheads slammed down. Through it all, Sarah heard the Meridian transmission continue, cold and precise. "Let this serve as a lesson in humility." The next hit breached the observation deck. Sarah felt the pull of vacuum, saw the security team's mag boots activate. She reached for the wall anchor. Maya clutched tight against her chest. But the angle was wrong. The force too strong. Maya's scream cut off as the emergency force field snapped into place, but it was a millisecond too late. Sarah watched, helpless, as her daughter was torn from her arms and pulled into space. The security team grabbed her before she could follow. In the hours that followed, as rescue ships arrived and diplomatic channels exploded with Meridian claims of a tragic accident during a routine space law enforcement action, Sarah sat in the medical bay, Maya's tablet clutched in her hands. On the screen, her daughter's last research project glowed. A careful analysis of Meridian crystal technologies, complete with hand-drawn diagrams. She didn't look up when Captain Rodriguez entered, didn't need to see his face to know what he would say. His words confirmed it anyway. Earth Command received our distress call. The response. He paused, his voice heavy with meaning. The response was silence. Sarah finally looked up, her eyes dry but burning with a cold fury that would have made the Meridians flinch. They're awakening the fleet, aren't they? Rodriguez nodded slowly. All of it. The real fleet. The one we built in secret while playing peaceful explorers. The one even I didn't know about until today. Sarah stood, still clutching Maya's tablet. Good. The Meridians think they understand humanity. They think they know our capabilities, our responses, our limits. She touched the screen one last time, where Maya had written her project conclusion. Crystal technologies are beautiful, but fragile if you know where to hit them. They're about to learn how wrong they are. In high orbit around Earth, hidden shipyards began powering up. Vessels that had slept in darkness for decades opened their eyes, and humanity prepared to show the galaxy exactly what happened when someone harmed their children. The silence of Earth would soon be broken by thunder. In the darkened command center beneath Mount Cheyenne, Admiral James Blackwood watched the holographic display as hundreds of signals began moving across Earth's solar system. Each light represented a ship emerging from hiding places humanity had spent generations preparing. Vessels tucked inside asteroids, masked as mining stations, or hidden in dimensional pockets that the Meridians' vaunted sensors had never detected. Status report, he ordered, his voice carrying the weight of 30 years of waiting for this moment. Ghost Fleet Alpha through Delta, fully operational, his AI assistant reported. Quantum strike carriers launching from Luna's dark side. Stealth destroyer squadrons executing emergence patterns exactly as planned. The room hummed with controlled tension as Earth's true military power revealed itself. What the galaxy had seen for the past 50 years, the small patrol ships, the modest defense fleet, had been an elaborate misdirection. Like a masterful chess player, humanity had shown only what they wanted their potential adversaries to see. Commander Lisa Santos, head of strategic operations, approached with a data tablet. "Sir, the Meridian Embassy is demanding to know why we've gone silent. They're threatening diplomatic consequences." Blackwood's laugh was devoid of humor. "Let them threaten. They'll understand soon enough." He turned to the main tactical display. "Show me the Prometheus." The hologram shifted, revealing Earth's flagship as it emerged from its dimensional sanctuary. Unlike the utilitarian designs of humanity's public fleet, the Prometheus was a revelation of advanced engineering. Its hull gleamed with dark energy-absorbing materials, quantum crystalline arrays, far more sophisticated than anything the Meridians possessed, pulsed with power along its spine. What looked like simple structural supports were actually housed particle lance emitters, capable of cutting through Meridian shields like paper. "All ships reporting ready, Admiral," Santos announced. "The Meridians still haven't detected our fleet emergence. Their quantumetric scanners are reading only our usual defense patterns." Blackwood nodded. Humanity had spent decades studying Meridian sensor technology, learning its blind spots, developing countermeasures. They'd played the long game, appearing technologically inferior while secretly surpassing their arrogant neighbors in nearly every field. "Show me the target analysis of the Meridian border fleet." The hologram shifted again, displaying the Meridian ships that had attacked the Horizon's Dream. They hung in space, still near the research vessel's wreckage, their crystalline hulls refracting starlight. Tactical overlays highlighted their weapons, shields, and what they thought were sophisticated stealth systems. Their flagship is transmitting another message, Santos reported. They're claiming the incident was a regrettable accident during a routine patrol, offering diplomatic reparations according to their standard protocols. Blackwood's expression hardened. Send them our response. Across the command center, screens lit up with the message being broadcast on all frequencies, in all languages. Humanity's silence ends. Our children's lives are not measured in diplomatic protocols. The Prometheus moved first, its massive form seeming to slide between dimensions as it approached the Meridian fleet. Behind it came the ghost fleets, hundreds of ships appearing seemingly from nowhere, their designs unlike anything the galaxy had seen. In their crystalline ships, the Meridian commanders barely had time to register surprise before the Prometheus opened fire. Particle lances sliced through their supposedly impenetrable shields. Quantum torpedoes, weapons humanity had developed by advancing Meridian technology far beyond its creators' understanding, shattered their crystal hulls. Enemy vessels attempting emergency FTL, Santos reported. Shall we permit their escape? Let one go, Blackwood ordered. The others die here. The battle, if it could be called that, lasted less than 5 minutes. When it was over, the wreckage of 2 Meridian warships drifted in space, their crystalline fragments glittering like tears among the stars. The third ship followed, carrying with it the first warning of what humanity had become. In the command center, Blackwood received a priority transmission from Earth's Security Council. Dr. Sarah Chin's face appeared on his private screen. She'd been appointed special advisor, her knowledge of Meridian crystal technology now serving a different purpose. The Meridian Empire will respond with everything they have, she said without preamble. They cannot afford to look weak. Blackwood smiled grimly. That's exactly what we're counting on, Doctor. They'll commit their full fleet. Everything they've shown us, everything they've held in reserve. And then they'll learn what it means to underestimate humanity, Sarah finished. On her desk, Maya's tablet still glowed with her final research notes. Their entire society is built on crystalline technology. They think they're its masters. But you found their weakness. Sarah's eyes held the same cold fury they'd shown since Maya's death. Every crystal has breakpoints. Admiral, my daughter taught me that. Now we're going to teach it to them. As if to emphasize her words, another wave of ships emerged from hiding. These were different, smaller, faster, built for a single purpose. Project Lightbridge, Sarah's research into quantum crystalline formations, hadn't been about communications at all. It had been about developing weapons that could shatter the very foundation of Meridian technological superiority. All fleets, battle formations, Blackwood commanded. We've spent 50 years preparing for this moment. Humanity is done playing the part of the humble newcomer. He paused, looking at the tactical display where the fleeing Meridian ship was disappearing into FTL. Let them gather their forces. Let them bring their full might. And then, Santos asked, and then we show them why you should never harm a human child. The command center hummed with activity as Earth's real war machine, hidden for so long, began to move. In space, the ghost fleets took up their positions, waiting for the Meridian counterattack that would surely come. They waited to reveal that humanity's greatest deception hadn't been hiding its strength. It had been hiding just how far that strength extended. The thunder was about to break, and the galaxy would never be the same. High Archonverus stood in the crystal spire of command, his crystalline features reflecting the chaos unfolding on the strategic displays before him. The emergency reports from the border fleet had seemed impossible at first. Human ships appearing from nowhere, weapons that shouldn't exist, defenses failing against technologies that by all Meridian understanding, humanity shouldn't possess for at least another century. Impossible, he whispered, watching another squadron of Meridian warships go dark under humanity's assault. They were primitive. We monitored their development. We guided their growth. No, Arkin. First Strategist Kyle's voice carried the weight of terrible realization. They let us think we were guiding them. Every technology we showed them, every limitation we imposed, they were watching us, learning our weaknesses. The strategic display shifted, showing more human fleets emerging across Meridian space. Their ships moved with precision that spoke of years of preparation, targeting critical infrastructure with devastating accuracy. What had seemed like a simple border incident was rapidly revealing itself as the opening moves of a carefully planned campaign. In orbit above the Meridian homeworld, the Empire's grand fleet gathered. Over 1,000 ships, their crystalline hulls forming patterns that had intimidated species far older than humanity. But for the first time in Meridian history, the sight brought no comfort to their leaders. "The human vessel we destroyed," Varys said slowly, "the one with the child. What were they actually studying in that asteroid field?" Kyle's crystalline form dimmed slightly, the Meridian equivalent of a grimace. "We analyzed their research vessels debris. They weren't studying communication technologies as claimed. They were analyzing our crystal matrices at their most fundamental level." The child's mother, Dr. Chen, she had developed theoretical models that... He paused, his crystal lattice structure vibrating with distress. "That what? That surpass our understanding of our own technology. The humans haven't just caught up to us, Arkin. They've been beyond us for years, possibly decades." A new alert sounded. On the display, human ships appeared near Meridian Prime's largest shipyard. The defensive fleet moved to intercept, their commanders confident in their superior numbers. That confidence lasted exactly 6 seconds. The human ships fired weapons that didn't so much destroy the Meridian vessels as unmake them. Crystal structures that had been grown and perfected over centuries, simply shattered, their fundamental matrices disrupted by forces the Meridians had never imagined possible. "How?" Varys demanded. "How did they hide this level of advancement?" The answer came not from his advisors, but from the human transmission now broadcasting across all Meridian frequencies. Dr. Sarah Chin's face appeared on their screens, her eyes holding no mercy. "You ask how we hid our true capabilities." Her voice was clinical, detached. "We learned that from you. Your arrogance was our greatest teacher. You were so convinced of your superiority that you never questioned why we accepted your guidance so readily, why we seemed to struggle with concepts that were, to us, elementary." The display split, showing footage from the Horizon's dream. Maya Chen's last moments played out in horrible clarity. "You killed my daughter to teach humanity humility," Sarah continued. "Instead, you taught us that the time for hiding was over. Every crystal has its breaking point, Arcanbaris. Your entire civilization is built on crystalline technology. Would you like to know what my daughter discovered in her final research project?" Around the Meridian homeworld, more human ships appeared. But these were different, smaller, built for a singular purpose. They began broadcasting energy frequencies that made every crystal structure in their range resonate uncomfortably. She found the resonance frequency that exists in all Meridian crystal matrices, Sarah explained, as the first orbital defense platforms began to crack. "A fundamental flaw in your technological foundation. One that, had you not killed her, she might have helped you correct. She was kind that way. Like most human children." Varys watched in horror as the supposedly indestructible crystal spire of command began to vibrate. "Wait," he transmitted. "We can negotiate." "The time for negotiations ended when you killed our children," Admiral Blackwood's voice joined the transmission. "But humanity is not without mercy. You have 6 hours to evacuate all civilian populations from your crystal cities before we begin full-spectrum resonance disruption. Any Meridian vessel that powers down and surrenders will be spared. Any that resist will be shattered." The transmission ended, leaving the Meridian leaders staring at their trembling city. In the silence that followed, First strategist Kyle spoke the truth they had all realized too late. "We never understood them," he said softly. "We saw their adaptability as primitive chaos, their emotional attachments as weakness, their apparent technological inferiority as proof of our superiority. We taught them our secrets while believing they could never truly grasp them. And all along, they were letting us think we were the teachers," Varys finished, "when in truth, we were showing our greatest rival exactly how to destroy us." Through the crystal windows of the command spire, they watched their orbital defenses continue to crack and shatter, raining crystalline shards through the atmosphere like falling stars. Human ships moved with precision through the debris, their formations protecting civilian evacuation corridors, while systematically dismantling military targets. The Meridian Empire had spent centuries building their crystalline civilization, believing it to be indestructible. Now, in the face of humanity's calculated fury, that civilization was about to learn the true price of underestimating a species that had turned patience and deception into an art form. And in orbit above them, Dr. Sarah Chen watched through the Prometheus's viewport as her daughter's final discovery brought an empire to its knees. The evacuation of Meridian Prime became known across the galaxy as both a demonstration of human power and human mercy. As crystal cities shattered under precise resonance attacks, human ships maintained strict evacuation corridors, their advanced medical facilities accepting even Meridian military personnel who required emergency treatment. Ambassador Lyra Tikel of the Galactic Council watched the footage from her observation post on the neutral station Harmony Point. Around her, representatives from 30 spacefaring races studied the tactical displays with a mixture of awe and fear. "Remarkable," the Vulturi delegate whispered, his ethereal form shifting colors. "They could have destroyed the entire Meridian civilization within hours of their first strike. Instead, they're conducting the most efficient evacuation operation I've ever witnessed," Lyra finished, "even while systematically dismantling the Meridian military complex." On the main screen, another crystal fortress crumbled. But before it fell, human ships had already extracted all civilian personnel. Their targeting was surgical. Military installations shattered while civilian structures were carefully dismantled only after evacuation. Admiral Blackwood's hologram appeared in the council chamber. "Representatives of the Galactic Council, we appreciate your continued observation of this operation. We want there to be no doubt about humanity's capabilities or our restraint." Restraint. The Meridian representative, a junior diplomat named Sile, spoke up. "You're destroying our civilization." "No," Dr. Sarah Chen stepped into view beside Blackwood. "We're dismantling your military capability and your ability to threaten other species. Your people are being relocated to safe zones with all necessary supplies and medical care. Your civilian research databases have been preserved." She gestured, and new data streamed across the council's displays. Detailed plans for temporary housing, medical facilities, and education centers for displaced Meridians. "But why?" Sile demanded. "If you possessed such power, why wait? Why pretend to be technologically inferior for so long?" Sarah's expression remained controlled, but her eyes flickered to a holo image of Maya. "Because we hoped it would never be necessary. Humanity joined the galactic community seeking peaceful cooperation. We hid our true capabilities because we knew how other species might react to them. We played the part of students because we wanted to learn about all of you, your cultures, your technologies, your ways of thinking." "And what did you learn?" Lyra asked softly. "That most species are capable of both great wisdom and terrible arrogance," Blackwood answered. "The Meridians chose to teach us a lesson about humility by killing children. Now we're teaching them, and anyone else who might consider similar actions, a different lesson." On the tactical displays, a new operation began. Human ships surrounded the crystal spire of knowledge, the Meridian's most sacred repository of scientific and cultural information. Instead of destroying it, they began a careful process of preservation, using technologies that made several council members gasp in recognition. "Those are preservation techniques from a dozen different species," the Vulturi delegate observed. "But modified, improved. We learned from all of you," Sarah explained. "Not just the Meridians. Every species humanity encountered taught us something valuable. We adapted, combined, and advanced those lessons in ways none of you expected, because you all made the same mistake. You underestimated us because we let you." A new alert drew everyone's attention. A group of Meridian warships, apparently hidden in deep space, had launched a desperate attack on a human civilian transport. The council chamber held its breath, expecting devastating retaliation. Instead, they watched as human defensive ships disabled the attackers with precise, non-lethal strikes. Medical vessels were dispatched even before the battle ended. "You see," Blackwood gestured to the scene. "We could destroy them all. But that's not who we are. Humanity's strength isn't in our weapons or our deception. It's in our ability to balance justice with mercy, vengeance with wisdom." Sarah stepped forward, addressing the Meridian representative directly. "Your leaders believed that killing children would teach humanity to know its place. They were right, in a way. We do know our place. We are the ones who will ensure that no species ever again believes they can harm the innocent without consequences." The council chamber fell silent as the implications sank in. They weren't just witnessing the fall of the Meridian military empire. They were watching the emergence of a new galactic order, one where humanity's hidden strength would serve as both warning and protection. "The evacuation will be complete within 30 standard hours," Blackwood informed them. "After that, we will begin working with the Council to establish new protocols for interspecies relations, ones that will be enforced." The unspoken message was clear. Humanity would no longer hide its capabilities, but neither would it abuse them. They had spent decades playing a lesser role, learning and preparing. Now they would step forward as guardians, using their power not for dominance, but for preservation. As the council members digested this, Sarah turned to leave, but the Meridian representative called out one last question. "Dr. Chen, your daughter, what would she think of all this?" Sarah paused, looking at Maya's image one more time. She would understand that sometimes the greatest test of strength is knowing when not to use it, and she would be proud that her last discovery is being used not just for vengeance, but to build something better. Above them, the stars seemed to shine differently now, as if reflecting the changed balance of power in the galaxy. Humanity had finally revealed its true face, not just its strength, but its capacity for both justice and mercy. The thunder of their revelation would echo through the cosmos for generations to come. 1 year after the Meridian intervention, the Great Hall of the new Galactic Assembly hummed with activity. Representatives from over 50 spacefaring species gathered beneath the transparent dome, where Earth hung like a blue jewel against the backdrop of stars. The choice of location was symbolic, humanity's homeworld hosting the rebirth of interstellar cooperation. Admiral Blackwood, now serving as Earth's Security Council chairman, stood at the central podium. Behind him, a memorial wall displayed the names of every child lost to interspecies conflict over the past century. Maya Chen's name, though not the last added, had become a symbol for the changes sweeping through galactic society. "We gather today," Blackwood began, "not to celebrate victory, but to ensure it never becomes necessary again." The assembled delegates fell silent. Among them sat former High Archon, now the lead representative of the reformed Meridian Cooperative. Their crystal cities had been rebuilt, not as monuments to military might, but as centers of cultural and scientific exchange. Humanity's emergence from hiding was not, as some feared, the beginning of our dominion, Blackwood continued. Instead, it marks the start of true cooperation. No more elder races condescending to guide younger species. No more hidden fleets or secret technologies. Dr. Sarah Chen, recently appointed as director of the Interspecies Technology Exchange, activated the central hologram. It showed the first graduates of the New Earth Academy, young beings from dozens of species, including Meridian, studying together. My daughter believed in understanding others. Sarah addressed the assembly. Not just their technologies or their sciences, but their hearts, their dreams, their ways of thinking. The academy she inspired doesn't just teach facts or techniques, it teaches understanding. The hologram shifted to show the transformed Meridian homeworld. Crystal spires still rose into the sky, but now they pulse with combined technologies. Human quantum innovations seamlessly integrated with Meridian crystal matrices, made safer and stronger through cooperation. The Meridian Empire's fall could have meant the loss of their extraordinary crystalline science. Sarah continued. Instead, by working together, we've advanced it beyond what either of our species could have achieved alone. Former Archonverus rose to speak, his crystal form reflecting the light differently now. More open, less rigidly structured. We thought we were the pinnacle of evolution, that our role was to guide lesser species. Humanity taught us the cost of such arrogance. But they also showed us a better way. The assembly watched as new data streamed across their displays. Breakthroughs in medicine, energy generation, and faster-than-light travel, all achieved through genuine cooperation between species that had once viewed each other with suspicion or contempt. The human concept of family, Verus continued, his voice carrying genuine emotion, extends beyond blood relations to encompass all they consider under their protection. When we killed their children, we thought we were demonstrating our power. Instead, we awakened something far stronger than mere military might. We awakened their determination to create a galaxy where no child, of any species, would ever again die to teach a lesson. Ambassador Lyra stepped forward, presenting the final draft of the Child Protection Accords, a revolutionary document that made the harming of any sentient young, regardless of species, a crime against all civilized worlds. Humanity could have used their hidden strength to dominate, she noted. Instead, they chose to protect. Their fleet, once revealed, could have conquered worlds. Instead, it now guards our combined achievements, ensuring peace through presence rather than fear. Sarah touched the memorial wall, her fingers tracing Maya's name. My daughter once asked me why different species couldn't work together better. She said we all looked at the same stars, dreamed the same dreams of exploration and discovery. In her last research project, she wasn't just studying crystal matrices. She was trying to understand how they could be improved through combination with other technologies. Blackwood activated the final display, a massive construction project at the edge of Earth's solar system. The Maya Chin Institute for Interspecies Cooperation will open next month. Its mission is not just scientific research, but fostering understanding between all sentient races. Because the greatest threat to any civilization isn't external attack or technological inferiority. It's the failure to recognize the value in our differences. The assembly erupted in approval. Among the applause, Sarah watched young Meridian crystals pulsing in harmony with human children's laughter, vulture energy beings dancing with Rigelian light sculptors. This was Maya's true legacy, not the weapons her research had enabled, but the bridges being built between worlds. The dawn of this new age, Blackwood concluded, isn't marked by humanity's revelation of power, but by all species' recognition of a simple truth. We are stronger together than we could ever be apart. Above them, Earth continued its eternal dance among the stars. But now it wasn't just humanity's cradle. It had become the heart of a new galactic civilization, one built not on fear or dominance, but on a promise to all the children of every species. They would grow up in a universe of wonders, protected by the combined strength of all sentient beings. And somewhere, Sarah liked to think, Maya was watching, smiling at the way her final discovery had led not to destruction, but to her dream of a galaxy united in understanding. The thunder of humanity's emergence had faded, replaced by the gentle music of civilizations learning, growing, and building together. It was a new dawn, promised to all the children of the stars.